Why do we resist doing the things that we know are good for us? Why do we fall off track with our wellness goals, like our dietary choices or our exercise routines or our journaling routines? Why do we fall off track? There is the factor that change is hard. I've talked about that a lot, about how change is hard and it's hard to develop new routines and new habits. But once you've established those routines and new habits and you're a seasoned practicer of those new habits and routines, why do we then sometimes fall off? And I think the reason for this is because sometimes we are meant to fall off track in order to gain perspective and clarity on why we are doing those things in the first place. Because if you're doing something that's really good for you, let's say you're eating a really clean, healthy diet, and then one week you decide that you just want to eat junk food and inflammatory foods, and then you feel really cruddy after eating them. Your falling off was purposeful in order to gain a new perspective and remind yourself on why you were eating clean in the first place. You get to go back to feeling good once you change those eating habits and get back to your eating healthy routine again. You get to rediscover your why and pursue it with even more reassurance and dedication than you did before. So when it comes to falling off, I think that the severity of the degree to which you fall off is directly related to the importance of the message that you are needing to hear. And what I mean by that is that if you use clean eating as an example, if you're someone who normally eats really clean, and then for a week you stop eating clean, you gain perspective, and then you get back to eating clean, that 1 week is not going to do too much to set you off track. But if you're someone who's been eating clean for years, and then you fall off the wagon for, let's say, 6 months, and you start eating very unhealthy foods for those 6 months straight. In my perspective, that means that you really needed to get to a place of feeling really bad in order to get the message through your head that you need to go back to eating well again. Some messages from the universe are little nudges and little reminders, and we just need that little bit of unalignment and being off course to get the message. But other times, we need to go way off course in order to get the message. And I think that's why sometimes people fall off in a really dramatic and really seemingly negative and really big bad way. Because they needed that amount of dysregulation, they needed that amount of unalignment in order to gain the perspective that they were meant to gain from that experience and from making those choices. And this is going to vary from person to person, from situation to situation. Not everybody needs to fall off so hard and so greatly. But when you really look at the people who have had significant success stories in different areas of their life, you look at their experiences. A lot of the time, something that these stories all have in common, and my story is included in this, we had to get to the lowest of the low point in order to wake up to the pain of our current reality and choose to make a significant, lasting change. So for me, going back years and years ago, when it came to my digestive health, I struggled with my digestion for over a decade. And after trying to figure out for a little while and getting no results and getting no answers, I kind of gave up on the fact that I could even heal at all. And I just accepted this baseline of pain and discomfort. And I was ready to live with that for the rest of my life. Until one day, when I was in the most amount of pain in my stomach that I had ever felt in my life. That day, my body sent me a message and said, you know what? She's not listening. She's not making changes. Let's just hit her really hard with these incredibly painful and difficult symptoms that she can't ignore, and maybe she will listen. That's what it took for me. It took me feeling the worst that I had ever felt physically to make a change, and sometimes we need to get to that place. Sometimes the universe has tried to send us little messages for years and years and years, and maybe we haven't been able to hear them. Maybe you're not as intuitive, or maybe you're intentionally disconnecting and disassociating from your life and your problems. Maybe you're not as aware of the messages that the universe is trying to send you, or you weren't or haven't been in the headspace to receive them and to really hear them. You can be oblivious for years and years, and maybe even decades, about something in your life that really needs to change in order for you to experience positive change in your life. So sometimes those messages, they start as little whispers, and the longer we don't listen to them for, or we ignore them for, the louder they get. The louder those symptoms will get, the more dramatic those problems in your life will get. Because the universe's way of trying to grab your attention, to give you a little shake and say, hey, this isn't working anymore. You are meant for a different path. You are meant to be living a different life. You are not meant to be living in struggle or poverty or whatever it is you're going through that's difficult. It's trying to shake things up for you so that you finally get the message. And you start making the decisions and the choices that are going to turn your life around. So all that to say, my theory is that the little misalignments you find yourself falling into and bouncing quickly back from, that's a sign that you're actually doing really well, and you don't need to be shaken to your core to get back on track. You just needed a little whisper, a little nudge, and back on track you will be. But if you're someone who's finding that your world is getting rocked constantly, over and over again, situation after situation, and you always feel like things are going wrong, you always feel like you can't get to the next step or the next stage of your goals or your dreams or whatever you're pursuing, your wellness, your health, your love life, whatever it is, if you're finding that you're constantly being rocked to your core, that is a sign that you are so far out of alignment and so disconnected from your true self, from everything that you are meant to achieve and experience in your life, from all the good and amazing things. And this rocky road and these misalignments are signs that your change is needing to happen now. It's your sign that it's time to stop misstepping. It's time to stop putting things off. It's time for you to start really making the big changes, the declarations to the world, to yourself, that you are going to start changing the way that you are being and the way that you are showing up in your life. I hope what you take away from this message overall is that every result that you are seeing in your life, whether positive or negative, is a sign of how you are currently thinking, how you are currently feeling, and how you are currently being. And it's your job to take those signs, to take those messages, and to make the choices that are going to put you on the path to where you desire to be. Learn to tune in to your thoughts. Learn to tune in to your intuition. Learn how to be receptive and understanding of the signs from the universe that you are being sent every single day. Because the more intuitive you can become, the better listener that you can become, the better interpreter that you can become of life's messages, the faster and easier path you will be taking on your way to your dream life.